Hello! Welcome to Team SNG deck profile. Today we are going to be doing the long-awaited Tri-Brigade deck profile. Now this is a relatively pure variant, so we're not mixing it with anything else just yet. While I've got your attention, I'd like to ask you guys, do leave us a like, leave us a comment, and do leave us a subscribe. Also, if you're interested in having your deck profile featured on the channel, make sure to check out the team's Patreon. Link to that will be down in the description below. Tri-Brigade's an interesting deck due to the fact that it lets you utilize Beast, Winged Beast, and Beast Warriors that are in your graveyard as link material. And so that's a really cool, interesting dynamic because those cards typically were out of play. They were no longer part of the combos that you can do with other decks, but you can use them for your Tri-Brigades. The only problem is if you use a Tri-Brigade monster on field to utilize your materials in grave, you're then locked into only being able to use Beast, Beast Warriors, and Winged Beast monsters as link material. But you're not locked into only summoning those types of monsters, so this deck can really utilize that. Let's just get into it. Starting off with the monsters, the first monster we're going to run is 3 copies of Tri-Brigade Fractal. Fractal is a really interesting card because if it's in your hand, you can discard it to Foolish Burial a Tri-Brigade monster from your deck. Also, if it's on the field, you contribute it to Foolish Burial, a Tri-Brigade monster from your deck. Typically, what you're going to be Foolish Burialing will be your Tri-Brigade Nerval. We run 2 copies of this. Tri-Brigade Nerval, when it is sent to the graveyard, whether it's from deck, from field, from hand, you get to search a Tri-Brigade monster directly from your deck to your hand. So you're going to use Fractal to Foolish Burial your Nerval. Nerval will then search you out your Tri-Brigade Kerass, which we run 3 copies of because we definitely want to see it in our opening hand. Tri-Brigade Kerass lets you discard a card from your hand to special summon himself, and then he has the same effect as all 3 of these have, which is that you can banish from your graveyard Beasts, Beast Warriors, or Winged Beasts to special summon from your extra deck a Winged Beast, Beast, or Beast Warrior Link monster that has a link rating equal to the amount of monsters banished by their effect from the graveyard. So if you banish 4 monsters, you special summon a link 4 Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monster. If you banish 2, you special summon a 2. So that's how that works. These guys really do help fuel the whole deck, and they can be utilized in many engines, but for today, we're focusing on utilizing them for themselves. Next, to help extend and give us lots of Beasts, Beast Warriors, and Winged Beasts in the grave, we run quite a robust Danger package. Starting off with Danger Jackalope, who, when discarded, lets you special summon a Danger from your deck directly to the field, giving you a monster on board that you can link off, and then you can link off a second time using your Tri-Brigades. We also run 3 copies of Danger Dogman, who will decrease every card on your opponent's side of the field by 1,000 attack. And we run 2 copies of Danger Bigfoot and 2 copies of Danger Thunderbird. This lets you pop face-up cards, and this lets you pop face-downs. So this whole thing really is quite robust, but it's also a nice extension for the deck, and it means that we don't need to utilize our normal summon. So far, we haven't shown you a normal summon for the deck. You can obviously normal summon your Kerass, and you could even potentially normal summon your Fractal. But, realistically, none of these monsters that we've seen so far is the normal summon you want to have. We'll get to that in a minute, though. Again, some more Beast-type extenders. We run 3 copies of Gallus, the Star Beast. Send a card from the top of your deck to the grave, and then special summon this. If it's a monster, if it's not, you destroy this. Either way, you win because you can utilize this in grave as link material using one of your Tri-Brigades, or you send a monster to the grave, which you can utilize as link material for one of your Tri-Brigades, and you put this monster on board, which can be utilized as link material on board, and then again while in grave. On top of that, another extender we run is 3 copies of Dinotherium. Dinotherium just special summons itself from the hand. The real cost for it, though, is that your opponent gets to special summon from either graveyard a monster. So you do need to be a little bit wary if you're going second with this deck, which sometimes you're definitely going to want to be able to do. So Dinotherium can be very useful as an extender, but we do need to be wary about when we use it. Now for the normal summon of the deck, and this is the best normal summon this deck has, and that is 3 copies of Reborn Tengu. When Reborn Tengu leaves the field and goes to grave, you get to special summon another copy directly from the deck. So if you normal summon this, and then link it off, you get another one. And then link that one off, you get a third one. And then link that third one off, you've got 3 link plays out of that. Oh, by the way, that's 3 more Winged Beasts in the graveyard for your Tri-Brigades to link off by banishing. So these guys really help the deck extend and are definitely the best normal summon. You really want to see Reborn Tengu on the field in this deck. Finally, we run a couple control-ish cards, first of which is 1 copy of Gameciel. It just makes the deck up to 40, and also it's useful to get rid of any trouble monsters your opponent might put on the field. And the other of which is Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, and that's because we do run the Buster Lock in this deck due to the fact that we can link off Beast Warriors to go into, or Winged Beasts, to go into our machine type Union Carrier, and then we can equip Dragon Buster Sword to one of our dark monsters on the field that we get out of the extra deck. So, we do have plays using this. That does it for our monsters. On to our spells. The next card we run is 3 copies of Tri-Brigade Airborne Assault. Airborne Assault is an extremely useful card for this deck. What you do with it is you target a Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast on your side of the field, and you special summon a Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast that isn't the same type from your main deck onto the field, so long as it has equal or less attack points. So you can use this to search out any of your Tri-Brigade monsters and put it on the field, or you could utilize this to bring out Reborn Tengu if you haven't managed to see one. The only problem with this is it locks you into summoning only Link monsters for the rest of the turn from the extra deck, and that's fine because we're only running Link monsters in our extra deck, so it doesn't really inhibit this deck at all, but it is a limitation you need to be aware of if you want to run this in any other deck. Next, because as I've stated, this deck is kind of leaning towards being able to go second, we run 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. This is the ultimate going second card, stopping our opponent from being able to activate any monster effects and letting us break their board can really be clutch. Then we run a few one-ofs in Foolish Burial to send our Nerval to grave, and Raigeki to break our opponent's board. On top of that, because we're running quite a few level 8s, we run a couple copies of Trade-In just to give us some extra hand power. That does it for our spells. On to our traps. We're only running 1 trap. We're running 3 copies of Tri-Brigade Revolt. The reason we run this is this lets us special summon from either the banish pile or from our grave Beast, Beast Warriors, and Winged Beasts. Then it lets us instantly link them off for a Tri-Brigade Link monster. This card enables this deck to be able to actually extra link our opponent and set up our field to take out our opponent. And you can see that in the test hands video, which will be released later this week. Link to that video will be in the description below. But this card really does help enable the extra link plays that this deck has the capabilities of pulling off. Onto our extra deck. The first monsters we run in our extra deck are our Tri-Brigade extra deck monsters. The first being the Tri-Brigade Farigit, the Barren Blossom. We run 3 copies of her. We probably don't need 3 copies. Very rarely are you going to see all 3, but we do run 3 just because she's nice. And it's totally up to you if you want to go with 2. I'd understand your argument there. What she does is, during the main phase, she lets you special summon a level 4 wing or lower Beast, Beast Warrior, Winged Beast from your hand. This will then lock you into only being able to use Beast, Beast Warrior, and Winged Beast monsters as link material for the rest of the turn. So we're already probably going to be locked into that at this point anyway, because we'll have used one of our other Tri-Brigades. So this is a typical restriction the deck has, and we're not concerned about that. When she is sent to grave, you can draw a card, and then you can pick a card out of your hand and place it on the bottom of your deck. So she does help you fix your hand. The Link 3 that we run, which is typically what we're going to use Tri-Brigade Revolt to bring out to enable the extra link play is the Tri-Brigade Rugal the Silver Sheller. What Rugal lets us do is, on our opponent's turn, during his or her main phase, you get to special summon a Beast Warrior or Winged Beast monster from your hand or your graveyard. This will then let you trigger off the big boss monster that we'll see in just a second. On top of that, if he is sent from field to grave, you get to make all cards on your opponent's side of the field lose 300 attack for each different type of monster you currently control. Now you're typically going to control 2, maybe 3, so you'll knock off 600 to 900 points of attack power for all of your opponent's monsters. And that can be really useful to help you break a board, but at the same time, it's not overwhelmingly powerful. Which is why a lot of deck lists might skip Rugal altogether. I like Rugal. I think he's definitely got a lot of playability and a lot of potential in this deck. Finally, the big boss monster of the Tri-Brigades is our Link 4, Tri-Brigade Shuriag, the Ominous Omen. I love this card. I think the artwork's incredible. It's so dark, though, that it doesn't show up very well on film. But, nothing too much there to complain about. He's a 3,000 beater Link 4, who, when a Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast is special summoned, non-targeting banishes a card off of your opponent's side of the field. This is a really useful card for being able to take stuff off your opponent's board that has lots of protections on it, because most protections are against targeting and against destruction. This avoids both of them, and that's really good. Couple this with the other Tri-Brigade boss monsters, in especially Rugal. You get special summon from your graveyard, a Beast Warrior, Winged Beast. That'll trigger your Ominous Omen, taking something off of your opponent's board, and you do that during your opponent's main phase. So that can be really useful to disrupt your opponent's play. Next, we run a complete Nightmare package with our Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Cerberus, Nightmare Unicorn, and we're even running our Nightmare Griffin. And the reason that I run the Griffin, which isn't typically a choice that people make, is honestly because of the fact typically recurring our Tri-Brigade Airborne Assault can be very valuable to us, but also locking our opponent's effects out just by having this on the field and potentially extra linking them as well can be extremely powerful, and it could make it so that our opponent really can't break through a board. If we can get all 4 of these on a board co-linked, our opponent is typically not going to win the game. Finally, the last few cards we run in the extra deck is IP Masquerena, Union Carrier, and Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax. You can run one more card in this extra deck. This is only a 14 card extra deck, but having access to these with the Buster Lock is really useful, and the IP Masquerena being able to produce you a well-protected Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax can also be extremely powerful. That does it for our extra deck. So my final thoughts on this deck are that utilizing your Beast Warrior and Winged Beasts from your graveyard with any of your Tri-Brigade main deck monsters is really useful. Being able to link off stuff multiple times to make multiple different monsters can be, well, extremely valuable. The ability also to utilize this convoluted search mechanism of sending Fractal to send Nerval to search Karis means that you're already probably going to have a Link 2 in your graveyard that you can make because of just the way the deck searches out its main playstarter. Coupling this with monsters like our Reborn Tengu and some of our other extenders, letting us put beasts straight in the grave, or Winged Beasts in the grave, or even Beast Warriors in the grave, being able to put those monsters in the grave to be utilized by our Tri-Brigades is really valuable. But Reborn Tengu really shines because it can act as a Link 6 on its own effectively. You can use it 3 times on the field, and then you can use it for the material to make a Link 3 from the grave. And that can be kind of OP. That's why I kind of like running him. The main deck also facilitates the ability to search and to play on our opponent's turn with our Tri-Brigade Airborne Assault and our Tri-Brigade Revolt. And that can be really valuable when you're thinking about the boss monsters this deck has access to, especially Shuriag, the Ominous Omen, who can utilize the special summon of any Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monster to take something away from your opponent. Finally, you can give him a couple different forms of protection with your Nightmare Cerberus and your Nightmare Phoenix, and you can even give yourself some extra hand advantage later in the game with your Nightmare Unicorn. So, that all being said, I hope you guys have really liked this, you've enjoyed it. Do leave us a like, leave us a comment, leave us a subscribe. Check out Team's Facebook page, links down below. Check out Team's Patreon to get your deck profiles featured here directly on the channel. And all that's left to say is, I'll see you guys at the next video.